Maya's hands trembled as she gripped the ornate picture frame, her daughter's laughter echoing from somewhere in the massive house behind her. The photo showed a man in an expensive suit, standing in front of a building with gold letters that made her stomach drop, Sterling Logistics. Below it, a caption read, CEO Ethan Sterling celebrates company's 10th anniversary. Her knees buckled. She caught herself against the mahogany table, the same table where that man, Ethan, the man she'd been dating for 3 months, the man she'd fallen in love with, had probably made decisions that killed her daughter's father. 3 months earlier, Maya had almost canceled the blind date entirely. Her babysitter had texted at the last minute with some excuse about a family emergency, and Maya stood in her cramped apartment bathroom, mascara wand in hand, debating whether to just give up. Her best friend Rachel had set this up weeks ago, insisting that Maya needed to start living again. It had been 3 years since James died. 3 years of working double shifts at the diner and taking freelance graphic design jobs at night. 3 years of watching her daughter Lily ask when Daddy was coming home, until finally she stopped asking. Maya looked at Lily, sprawled on the living room floor with crayons scattered around her, and made a decision. If this man couldn't handle her reality from minute one, better to know now. She packed Lily's coloring books, grabbed the diaper bag even though Lily was 4 and barely needed it anymore, and headed to the cafe. The moment she walked in, she spotted him. He sat at a corner table, and when he looked up and saw her holding Lily's hand, she braced for disappointment. Instead, his entire face transformed. He smiled, not the polite smile of someone being courteous, but genuine relief. "You must be Maya," he said, standing up. He crouched down to Lily's level. "And who's this?" "I'm Lily," her daughter announced, suddenly shy. "I'm Ethan. I like your butterfly shirt." Maya exhaled. "I'm so sorry. My babysitter canceled and I should have called, but I thought." "Don't apologize." Ethan pulled out a chair for her. "Honestly, I'm relieved. I have a son, and I was worried you'd be the type who thinks kids should be invisible." They ordered coffee. Lily got hot chocolate and spilled it within 10 minutes, the brown liquid spreading across the table. Maya jumped up, mortified, already reaching for napkins, but Ethan was faster. He laughed, a real laugh, and started dabbing at the mess. "My son Max did this exact thing last week at his grandmother's house. White tablecloth, fancy china, the whole 9 yards. She nearly had a heart attack." "How old is Max?" Maya asked, settling back into her chair as Lily climbed into her lap. 7. He's with his mom this weekend. We share custody. Divorced. Widowed, actually. For years ago." Something in Maya's chest loosened. "I'm sorry." "Thank you. It gets easier, but it never really stops hurting." He looked at Lily. "You're doing a great job, by the way. I can tell." They talked for 2 hours. Ethan was easy to talk to, asking questions that weren't intrusive but showed he actually cared about the answers. He worked in logistics, he said, which sounded boring but paid well enough. He talked about Max with such obvious love that Maya found herself telling him about James, about how he died in a workplace accident, about how she still hadn't moved his tools from the garage. "That's good," Ethan said softly, "that you're keeping pieces of him. Max needs to know his mom, and Lily needs to know her dad." When they left, Lily held both their hands, swinging between them. Ethan walked them to Maya's car, an old Honda with a dent in the passenger door. "Can I see you again?" he asked. "Yes," Maya said, and meant it. The next 3 months unfolded like something from a movie Maya wouldn't have believed she deserved. Ethan was attentive without being overbearing. He showed up when he said he would. He brought Max to the park, and the 2 kids became instant friends, racing across playground equipment while Maya and Ethan sat on a bench, their shoulders touching. He was generous but never flashy. He'd pick up dinner tabs and brush off her protests with, "I asked you out, let me treat you." But he drove a normal car, wore jeans and t-shirts, seemed perfectly content eating pizza on her apartment floor while the kids watched cartoons. One night, after the children had fallen asleep on the couch in a tangle of blankets, Ethan pulled Maya close. "I need to tell you something," he started, his voice serious. Maya's heart stuttered. Here it comes, she thought. He's not ready. He's moving. He's She kissed him before he could finish. I already know everything I need to know, she whispered against his mouth. He kissed her back, but something flickered across his face. Guilt, maybe. She was too happy to examine it. A week later, Maya needed to pick up Lily from a play date at Ethan's house. She'd never been there before. They always met at parks or her place or restaurants. When she put the address into her GPS, she assumed there was a mistake. The route took her through increasingly expensive neighborhoods, past gates and manicured lawns that belonged in magazines. This can't be right, she muttered, but the GPS insisted. Turn right. Your destination is ahead. She pulled up to a gate with an intercom. A voice answered immediately. Ms. Morrison, Mr. Sterling is expecting you. Please come through. The gate opened. Maya's hands felt numb on the steering wheel as she drove up a curved driveway to what could only be called a mansion. Colonial style, white pillars, probably 6 bedrooms at minimum. A man in an actual suit opened the door. Good evening, Ms. Morrison. The children are in the playroom. Mr. Sterling will be with you shortly. May I get you anything to drink? No, I'm fine. Maya's voice sounded far away. She followed the man through halls with actual artwork on the walls, not prints, but original paintings. Through an archway, she heard Lily's laughter and Max's excited shouting. Then she saw the photo. It sat on a table in what must have been Ethan's study, and Maya's feet carried her toward it without conscious thought. The man in the photo wore a tailored suit, standing in front of a glass building. Behind him, gold letters spelled out Sterling Logistics. The caption below made her vision blur. CEO Ethan Sterling celebrates company's 10th anniversary. Sterling Logistics. The company whose warehouse had collapsed 3 years ago. The company whose lawyers had called her, offering insulting settlement amounts while implying James had somehow been at fault for being crushed by their faulty infrastructure. The company she'd screamed at on the phone, grieving and alone, while Lily cried in the next room. Maya. She spun around. Ethan stood in the doorway, and the look on his face told her everything. He knew. He'd known this whole time. You're him. Her voice came out strangled. You're the CEO? Your company killed James. Maya, please let me explain. Explain what? That you lied to me? That you let me fall in love with you while knowing your company killed my daughter's father? I didn't lie. I didn't know how to tell you. When? Maya's voice rose. When did you know who I was? His silence was damning. Oh my God. From the beginning. You knew from the beginning. I found out after our first date. Ethan said quietly. You mentioned James's name and the accident, and I looked it up. I inherited this company from my father 5 years ago, and when that accident happened, when James died, you mean? Say it. When your company's negligence killed him. Yes. Ethan's voice broke. When that happened, I was in Singapore on business. I came back and found out about the safety violations, the corners that had been cut. I fired the managers responsible. I implemented new safety standards across every facility. You did all that while I was planning a funeral. Maya's laugh was bitter. While I was holding my 4-year-old daughter and trying to explain why Daddy wasn't coming home. While your lawyers were calling me, trying to get me to sign papers that said James was responsible for his own death. I didn't know about that. I swear if I had known. You own the company. You signed the checks. Don't stand there and tell me you didn't know. I know. Ethan's face was pale. I know there's no excuse. I inherited a system I didn't fully understand, and by the time I realized how corrupt it was, people had already been hurt. James had already. His voice broke. I can't take that back. I've tried to make it right. I've changed everything, but I know it doesn't matter because he's still gone. Why? Maya's voice dropped to a whisper. Why didn't you tell me? Because I'm a coward. Ethan's eyes were red. Because I met you, and you were so real, so genuine, and you looked at me like I was just a person. Not like I was money or opportunity or a name. Just me. And I thought if I could just have a little more time, I could figure out how to tell you. But then it became a week, then a month, and I kept thinking tomorrow. I'll tell her tomorrow. Mama. Lily appeared in the doorway, her small face concerned. Why are you crying? Maya wiped her cheeks, unaware until that moment that tears were streaming down her face. We're leaving, baby. But I want to play with Max more. We're leaving now. She grabbed Lily's hand and pushed past Ethan. Max appeared at the top of the stairs, confused. Lily? Are you coming back? Lily twisted in Maya's grip, calling back. Bye, Max. Lily, wait. Max started down the stairs, but Ethan caught him. Let them go, buddy. Maya strapped Lily into her car seat, her hands shaking so badly she could barely work the buckle. In her rearview mirror, she saw Ethan standing in the doorway of that massive house, his hand on his son's shoulder, both of them watching her leave. Lily cried the whole way home. I want Max. Why can't we see Max? We just can't, baby. But I love Max. And I love Mr. Ethan. Maya's chest felt like it was cracking open. I know, sweetheart. I know. The next 2 months were torture. Maya threw herself into work, picking up extra shifts until exhaustion was the only thing that let her sleep. Lily drew pictures for Max every day, a stack of them accumulating on the kitchen counter. She'd ask when they could have another play date, and Maya would make excuses until Lily stopped asking. Rachel came over one night, finding Maya surrounded by boxes. What are you doing? Packing up James's things. I should have done this years ago. You were healing. There's no timeline for that. Was I? Or was I just being a coward? Maya held up one of James's work shirts. I let myself fall in love with the man whose company killed him. What does that say about me? It says you're human. Rachel sat down next to her. It says you were happy. I shouldn't have been. Lily's father is dead because of him. Because of his company. There's a difference. Is there? Maya's voice was hollow. Her phone buzzed. Not a call or text, a notification. An email from a law firm she didn't recognize. She almost deleted it, assuming it was spam, but something made her open it. The subject line read, James Morrison Memorial Safety Foundation. Maya's hands trembled as she read. Sterling Logistics had established a $50 million endowment in James's name. Every warehouse employee would receive life insurance. Families would get college funds. The foundation was already lobbying for industry-wide safety standards. There was an attachment, a letter. Maya clicked it open. Dear Ms. Morrison, please find enclosed the documentation for the James Morrison Memorial Safety Foundation, established in memory of your late partner and in acknowledgement of the failures that led to his death. This foundation represents a commitment not just to financial compensation, but to systemic change. Additionally, please be advised that Ethan Sterling has resigned as CEO of Sterling Logistics, effective immediately. He will be leading the foundation directly, working with families affected by workplace accidents. This decision was made without board approval and against the advice of all his advisors. We share this not to influence your opinion, but because you deserve to know. Sincerely, Morrison and Associates. Beneath the formal letter, a handwritten note on different paper. This doesn't fix anything. James is still gone, and nothing I do will ever change that. But I can't run from what my company did, even if I didn't know the extent until it was too late. I'm sorry I didn't tell you who I was from the beginning. I was afraid of losing what we had, and in my cowardice, I hurt you worse than honesty ever would have. You owe me nothing. Not forgiveness, not understanding, nothing. But James's daughter deserves a world where no other child loses their father the way she did. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to build that. I visit his grave sometimes. I hope that's okay. I needed him to know that someone in that company gave a damn. Maya read it 3 times. Then she got in her car. The cemetery was nearly empty in the fading light. She found James's grave easily. She could walk to it in her sleep. Fresh flowers lay against the headstone. They looked recent, maybe from that morning. Maya sat down in the grass, tucking her knees to her chest. I don't know what to do, she said to the gravestone. I loved you so much. I still do. And I love Lily, and I want to be strong for her. But I think, her voice cracked. I think I love him too. And I hate that. I hate that loving him feels like betraying you. The wind rustled through the trees. A bird called somewhere overhead. He visits you. Did you know that? He brings you flowers, and I think he talks to you, though I don't know what he says. And he gave up everything. His company, his career, everything he built. He's trying to make it right, even though nothing can make it right. Maya wiped her eyes. Lily misses him. She misses Max. She drew him 17 pictures, James. 17. And she asks me every day when she can see them again, and I don't know what to tell her. She stayed until the sun set, until the cemetery lights flickered on. Then she drove home, pulled out her phone, and stared at Ethan's contact for 20 minutes before finally typing, "Can we talk?" His response came immediately, "Anytime, anywhere, just tell me when." Maya stood in the lobby of an office building downtown, watching people filter into a conference room. A banner hung over the entrance. James Morrison Memorial Safety Foundation, first annual benefit. Through the doorway, she could see Ethan. He looked thinner, older, standing with a woman Maya recognized from the news coverage of the warehouse collapse. The woman was crying, and Ethan held her hand, his head bowed, listening. Maya watched him promise something, watched the woman nod. Then Ethan looked up and saw Maya. His face went through a dozen emotions: surprise, hope, fear. He excused himself and started walking toward her, then seemed to think better of it and turned toward the exit instead. Maya followed him outside. He stood on the sidewalk, hands in his pockets, staring at nothing. "You came. I've been following the foundation's work. You've helped a lot of people. It's not enough. It'll never be enough. You stepped down from the company. It was the right thing to do. I couldn't lead something I'd lost faith in. You've been visiting James's grave." Ethan's jaw tightened. "I needed him to know. I don't even know what. Just that someone cared. That his life mattered." Maya took a breath. "Lily asks about Max every day. She made him a Christmas card. I never sent it." Ethan's composure cracked. He thinks he did something wrong. He thinks Lily doesn't like him anymore. He didn't do anything wrong. Neither of them did. "Maya." Ethan turned to her, and his eyes were devastated. "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I didn't tell you from the beginning. I'm sorry my company failed, James. I'm sorry I fell in love with you anyway. I'm sorry for all of it." "James used to say that life isn't simple," Maya said quietly. "It's just what we choose to do with the broken pieces." She reached out and took Ethan's hand. He stared at their joined fingers like he couldn't believe they were real. "I'm not saying I forgive everything," Maya said. "I'm not saying it doesn't still hurt, because it does. Every single day. But I'm saying, maybe we figure out how to carry this together. Maybe we try." "Are you sure?" Ethan's voice was rough. "You deserve someone whose company didn't kill your daughter's father. You deserve simple, easy." "I deserve to be happy," Maya corrected. "And so does Lily. And so do you and Max." She squeezed his hand. "And maybe we can be happy together, even if it's complicated, even if it hurts sometimes." "I'll spend every day trying to be worthy of that," Ethan said. "I know." 2 weeks later, Maya and Ethan took the kids to the park. Max and Lily raced ahead, already arguing about who got to go down the slide first, like they'd never been apart. Ethan and Maya walked behind them slowly, their hands linked. "Does it ever stop hurting?" Ethan asked. "No," Maya said honestly. "But maybe that's okay. Maybe we're supposed to remember." Lily ran back to them, breathless and grinning. "Mama, it's almost Daddy's birthday. Can Max come when we visit him?" Maya looked at Ethan. His eyes were bright with unshed tears. She nodded. "Yeah, baby. Max can come." Ethan's voice was barely a whisper. "Thank you." They sat on a bench and watched the children play. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't simple. But it was honest, and it was real, and maybe that was enough. Maybe love wasn't about finding someone perfect. Maybe it was about finding someone willing to sit with you in the imperfect, messy, complicated truth and choose you anyway. Someone willing to honor the past while building a future. Someone brave enough to carry the weight of mistakes and still try to be better. As the sun set behind the playground, casting everything in gold, Maya leaned her head on Ethan's shoulder. Lily's laughter rang out across the park, pure and bright and alive. And for the first time in 3 years, Maya felt something like peace. If you love this video, give it a like and click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Watch the video next which YouTube thinks you might like.